You received a call from an inmate at the Department of Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
Well, hello there, Tracy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you file a grievance? Yeah, I know, but one guarantee that you're not going to get anything done is to not file a grievance. At least give it a shot. And that's an issue I've been having across the board. There's a lot of prison officials who just think that they're above all the policies. And many of them believe they're above the law. But you have to realize that there's one or two, no matter how minor, that actually do care, that signed up to become a prison official with this sole purpose of improving the lives of the people that are in there and making the community safer. I've actually run across a few. And many of them, though, unfortunately, are ex. They've either quit or took a retirement or just got transferred someplace else and said the heck with working with the prison system. But, you once you find somebody, it's great to have that person on your team. And usually when you talk to your friends, you can find somebody like that. But definitely don't give up. Do something, because the way you were treated is not right. And the only reason these people continue doing this stuff is because we let them. It's just like the saying that people don't have power over you unless you give it to them. So the only control people have over you is what's given to them by you. And you're giving them some power to continue that action. Yeah, I will get some information to you, telephone numbers, addresses, and if I can get some names, some point of contacts, I'll do that as well. And hopefully you can share it with other folks. And if there's anybody else that has an issue, just let me know. We want to get the word out to as many people as possible, and we want to keep this in the news, because I guess human nature, or maybe human interest, we tend to get focused on something and then either get bored with it or something more interesting comes along, and then we forget that we have this issue going on. But it's like the political campaign. When a person runs for political office, if you see this person constantly, there's a good chance that when the time comes to cast your ballot, you're going to recognize that name. I know there's a few things in there. I'll look at several people on running for a position, and then I get a card in the mail or see a commercial on TV or something on the radio, maybe meet the person at a community event, and it just pops out. And I do like to do research when I do elections, but one quick way to get a person's interest is to just have your name out there. And it works in the political arena. It works in social media. So if you want this to be resolved, you're just going to have to keep mentioning it. Keep it going. And the more people that do that, the more likely they are just to either fix it or just do something to try to shut you up. And hopefully it's not retaliate to shut you up. Hopefully it's more or less like, what do you want?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I want this to go away. Simple politics. Good. You need to stay motivated. And I can send you little quotations, maybe connect you with somebody who's one of those jailhouse lawyers that can just keep you with information, keep you reading things. Look up articles and maybe check out books.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's not a lot of time. So I do appreciate you giving me a call, and I hope that this doesn't just go away. I hope you're able to stick with it and stay motivated enough. Good. Yeah, a grievance is a good step. Okay, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you later. You got it. Goodbye. Well, hello. Welcome to AQS Inmate Call. I'm your host, Joel Wilborn. And in this episode, I want to discuss how prison officials fail to follow federal, state laws and their own policy. And for a lot of folks, when you hear something like that, these people commit a crime and they know what they're doing, because it's very rare somebody goes out, breaks the law, and has no idea what they were doing and that they were breaking the law. So when they commit this law, or when they commit this crime, and then the law convicts them to serve time in prison, there's people out there who believe they knew what they were doing, they knew what they were getting into, and so whatever happens in there, we have little sympathy. They don't realize that mistreatment within there can lead to even more crime and even more violence, and it could also create situations that can quickly get out of control. So it's best to have a correctional center do what a correctional center is supposed to do, and that's to help understand the criminal nature and to try to get the person back into society, feeling comfortable about themselves and contributing to their community, their family. They're out there paying taxes, they're filling jobs that are hard to find good workers for. So there's so many benefits to working with this, but we tend to say these guys are the bad guys. We don't want them in our community. They belong in that prison and they deserve whatever happens to them. Just to give you an example of what I'm going through on something like this. I met a woman that I want to marry, and I want her to get out of prison, and I don't want her to go back. I want her to be a productive member of society, which is something everybody should want. And so I'm working really hard to help ease her mind, because she has been suicidal. She has suffered from depression and addiction, and she's has some physical issues as well. And that's not out of the ordinary for many people in today's society anyway. And there's various reasons that people get into situations like that or conditions like that. And we just have to take it by a case by case basis. And I studied her background by looking at her up on social media and talking to her family members and speaking with her and her friends. And so I have a very comfortable feeling about her and what I can do to help her. One of the things she likes to do is color. And she asked me to send her a coloring book, which has so many advantages. I mailed her the coloring book and the prison lost it. And then I mail her a Christmas card. And the Christmas card is returned to me, and written on it is unauthorized communication. I don't know where that came from or why that was even said, because I had put in for marriage. We followed the policy. We went through the process, and we were approved to get married. All we need is a ceremony, which the prison guarantees that we can have a marriage ceremony. They neither support nor oppose a marriage, but they're required by their own policy to give me the means to get married. The rest of it's up to me. I have to get all of the staff together, and visitors, people who are going to attend the wedding, and get the marriage license. I qualify in the state of Washington. She qualifies. There's no hold up there. So it goes to the superintendent's desk, and then I'm blocked from using email, and I get this return card. So it just kind of makes me wonder, what are they up to? Are they trying to help me to help her? Are they trying to send a message? I can ask and ask and ask, and they go to their silent mode, or they'll just kind of put things off. We'll get back to you in 2 weeks. It's a process I'm used to. And being a prison advocate, it's something I expect. Because I can just go through my normal day-to-day activity, and then just one day log onto my computer, and there's a neat little present from them showing me that they need an advocate to speak out against the things they do. They just hand it to me. A good way to say it is they hand it to me on a silver platter. Now, there's a few things that's been going on in the news, and that right there makes me very, very comfortable, because I want people to see what's going on inside the prison. You can see documentaries on Netflix. There's a few of the mainstream media that puts out stuff. I have things that I pick up on my OxyWord, on my YouTube channel, that where the prisoners will speak to me about the things that's happened in their life and why they felt that they ended up where they are. I like to get that out. And now, with all this stuff coming out, we need to share this with you guys. You have a right to know about people who are released from prison, and maybe they're working next to you, standing behind you in a grocery line, or living next to you. Is this person going to re-offend? There's a very, very good possibility that will happen because of the way they were treated in the correctional center, which wasn't doing its job. Now, in case you missed it, there's been a few recent activities that I'd like to tell you about. The Marcy Correctional Facility report in 2022 and a report from the Corrections Association of New York detailed rampant abuse by staff at Marcy Correctional Facility, including physical assaults and threats. Inmates reported limited access to food and unfair discipline procedures. And the Federal Correction Institute Dublin settlement, which was in 2024, the Federal Bureau of Prisons agreed to a legal settlement following staff on inmate sexual abuse at the Federal Corrections Institution in Dublin, California. The settlement includes increased transparency, key protections for victims, and a court-appointed monitor. And I have a story about that on my YouTube channel. There's the Federal Prison Oversight Act of 2023. Senators proposed new legislation to provide more oversight of federal prisons, including a hotline for prisoners to report misconduct and mandated federal watchdog inspections. This bill aims to address reports of scandal and abuse in the prison system. We need that. We need that at the state level. We need it at the federal level. As long as this is in the news, there's a good chance we can get that stuff going around. Now, as far as human catastrophe, something that's a physical harm or death, we have the Cristo Canet's death. Cristo Canet died in El Paso County Jail due to inadequate medical care provided by WellPath caregivers. The county was held liable for hiring a private medical company known for not providing adequate care. Unnamed inmate at Petersburg Federal Correction Institute in 2021. An inmate suffered a 30-hour medical crisis and died from blunt force trauma to the head. The former prison lieutenant was sentenced to 3 years in prison for failing to act during the crisis. And then deaths due to neglect in U.S. jails. There have been multiple cases of inmates dying due to neglect, such as Seneca Proctor and Tony Lewis, who both died in Alabama jails due to lack of timely medical intervention. If a jail or a prison has inadequate staffing and cannot provide the proper resources for an inmate, do not, and I can't emphasize this enough, do not send them to prison. Don't send anybody to these prisons if you can't take care of them. You're going to cause a whole lot more damage. And is it worth it to pay out millions of dollars, like was the case in Paula Gardner, because they don't follow their own policy and they don't follow law and they don't provide the resources? I don't think that's worth it. I would like my taxpaying money, I would like my resources to go to more useful treatment and conditions than what we have now. We need somebody to keep a look on it. The state of Washington had that out there, but then they gave it up. I'm not sure of a lobby out there that's strong enough to make prisons lose valuable resources. What kind of lobby group would benefit from something like that? We have bad communication. We have, I don't know, maybe if it's some kind of depression or stress or just resentment, but prison officials just don't really care. I know I received a call from one of the inmates at the Washington Correction Center for Women, and she was saying that she was just being talked down to, and she didn't know why. And she got into a confrontation with this person, and she said the person was fired. I'm not sure about that, because it's very rare that they do fire prison officials, but it could have been so bad that they did fire her or something like that. And the King County Detention Center in Seattle, Washington, there's people in there who barely speak English and barely can communicate. And they tend to mess things up. They misinterpret instructions, or people misinterpret them. Because they had a person go into the gym, and the males will go in there and then they'll leave, and then the females go in there. Well, this one male hid in the gym. So when the females came in there, he came out for a rendezvous with one of the female prisoners, and the two of them were caught. And so, of course, the question when I relayed it to other people is, how are these male and females getting together? It's because they're not paying attention. They don't care. They're just in it for a paycheck. And the list goes on. Various reasons. We can end all of this by simply broadcasting it, getting it out. Maybe you can go to my YouTube channel and share some of these stories. There's women and men that are ex-cons who put videos on YouTube. You could look them up and share their videos. Get their story. And if you see a documentary or maybe a special report or something and you have access to it, share the link. Let's get the word out. If you want a safe community, closing the border, yeah, that's nice. And I don't know, certain gun control issues, that could work too. But the biggest thing is the humans are the ones who's committing these crimes. And the humans are the ones that need to receive the most attention. There's a saying that they'll ask people, what's the most important thing to come out of a mine? And you could think gold, silver, coal. Maybe some people might even say diamonds, because that's a big industry. But the most important thing to come out of a mine is the miner. People are the greatest asset to a company. And as long as the workers are happy, you get good production. And it could take quite a bit. And sometimes people get greedy, but you got to work something out. That's why we have unions, to try to work things out so they can get decent pay, decent benefits, and they have a voice. I'm like a union representative for the prisons. I speak on their behalf and try to get their information out. So if you want to stop crime, and that's my goal, it may sound impossible, but stop crime, not reduce it, not minimize it, but stop it. You're going to have to deal with the common denominator in every single crime that's ever been committed since the beginning of the time, and that's the human being. So why are we neglecting the human being? We give more attention to a rifle than we do the human being. So let's maintain the focus on the human. Let's not give any more of these instances where people go to prison and they're beat to death, or they commit suicide, or their condition worsens because they're not getting the proper medical attention. This should be taken in consideration in the justice system before sentencing a person. What's the cost going to be? If you go and look at the reports of your state prisons, you can see how much money we spend per year on these things. It's a lot. And it could be, and the way I look at it, if it goes up because we get better medical, get better nutrition, and maybe they can get community college degrees or college degrees, technical training, and we spend a little bit to get good staff in there, hire contractors, maybe instead of charging these exorbitant rates for a phone call or an email message, make them free for anybody that's in prison. That could cost a little bit, but think, slowly you'll reduce the prisons and crime will slowly disappear. It's not going to be overnight, but we can get rid of it. But we got to take action. And when you look in the mirror, that person looking back at you has more power than you're giving to the person to stop this crime. Well, I hope that you'll take a look into this. You can go to my YouTube channel. Just look up Joel Wilborn on YouTube and take a few of the things, or take a look at some of the stuff that's under OxyWord, or I have some videos that are testaments from the people who are incarcerated. And I have a lot of other little things on there too, maybe to put a smile on your face, or to get you angry, or just kind of get you thinking. But my main focus on that is the people who are silent in the prison and they want to say something. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a stellar day, and then go out and make superb memories for tomorrow.